everyone. Welcome to another one of our Facebook Lives. Well, we're here in Kansas, and yesterday it was 100, and today it's 50. And so it's the first time that I'm really thinking about fall. And of course, a lot of you have heard me talk about the fact that I follow the Wall Street Journal fashion issues. And a week ago was I guess they call it a supplement that comes out about 4 times a year, all about fashion. And on the front of cover is Naomi Osaka. Now I want to introduce Samantha in a minute, but Samantha and I are tennis players. So of course we're all over the fact that we're watching the US Open this week, following all of our favorite players and thinking it's very odd, of course, that there are no fans, but there are a lot of fans like us sitting at home watching the US Open, including Naomi Osaka. But I brought this today because I thought you'd be interested to note that we've talked about this before, but look at what she has on. She has on shorts and sneakers and then this long coat. And so today I pulled out the Chicago jacket, which has been lengthened about 17 inches, and Samantha's wearing it today, and it's the perfect coat for today, don't you think?
Absolutely.
With the weather the way it is. So this is in a heather ponte knit, our best ponte knits, which are the rayon and nylon and spandex, no polyesters. And this coat has been hanging and worn and put in a suitcase, and it never wrinkles, and it's just the perfect lightweight coat for the first day of what feels like fall is coming. So, reminder about the Wall Street Journal, reminder about the Chicago jacket, reminder about ponte knits, lengthening, which is Samantha's thing we're going to talk about in a minute here. So, Samantha. Yes. Samantha Ploch.
Yes.
When did I first meet you?
2015, 5 years ago. In Atlanta.
Yep.
And a lady lost her pants in our knit class.
That's right.
Seriously, she could not find her pants.
Right, we were doing a knits class, and she was trying on some muslins, and she had on our pants, and then for the rest of the day, she could never find her pants, and she never found them. And so we don't really know that story, but that's how we met.
Yes.
And you were with 2 other people from your area, South Carolina. She's from Sullivan's Island, and Jan's from Hollywood, South Carolina.
Yes. Jerry is from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
All in the same
area.
Locale. And so we became friends.
Yes.
And over time, over the last 5 years, we've been to London and Chateau Dumas, and you've been here a ton, and I've been there, and we've sewn together. And
I stalk her.
Well, we've become fast friends, and in the course of all of that, I've realized how talented Samantha is. It just amazes me, really, how well she's a fashionista.
I do love high-end designers,
right,
but I'm not willing to spend $5,000 on a sweatshirt.
Exactly. So she sees these fabulous fashions from Alexander McQueen and
all kinds of different names. Probably I wouldn't pronounce correctly.
Yeah, and so she'll download a picture. And begin to make it a sort of look-alike, not necessarily an exact copy, but an inspiration.
Yes.
Of length, detail. Maybe you'll just borrow a sleeve detail or a cuff detail.
Correct. Or the colors, like I love how the color blocking is going, or with the Gucci they have a lot of print.
Yeah.
And it seems to look okay, where I would have thought that would be too much, but they make it look amazing.
Yeah. So she has a great eye, and she's amazing in how she translates that into real wearable clothes for her.
Thank you.
So what do you have on?
I have on the Alex t-shirt, or
Alex top.
right here.
Right here.
Yes.
So if you were to make the Alex top, it would have a cowl neck. It has this insertion, this kind of an A shape.
Correct.
Drapey sides and long sleeves.
Yep.
So what have you done to this one?
Well, I love the asymmetry of this. You see this in a lot of designer dresses, the hemline. So that's really what caught my attention. And then I thought, well, this will be perfect for color blocking. I had to change the neckline because that's what I do.
Yes.
And
well,
then
this isn't exactly your climate most of the time either, where you live.
or the long
long
sleeves. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I usually have to change that. So I made it short sleeve, and I did a little bit of piping on this one. So this one is somewhat solids, but I loved, you had it on an outfit, Erin, that had this print, and I just thought it was kind of retro, kind of fun. So then I put the blue with it.
Yeah, and this is flat piping, so it's not filled.
Correct.
It doesn't have anything inside, so it's about a quarter of an inch, 3/8 of an inch wide, and just inserted into the seams, and it
Yep,
really
all the way
accents
around.
that. Side seams as well.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
I know you probably can't see his full length, but just this is below the knee. See why it's fun? Below the knee. You look great in this. Now,
Thank you.
I'm assuming that you took this cowl piece, and instead of cutting it this high, you cut it this high.
I used it as the measurement.
Yes.
Definitely. To get
Yes.
this right.
So that's, if you are confused about what sort of a circumference of binding you need, you have it in whatever height, cowl, collar, binding it is. In reverse, if this had a binding like that in the pattern, you could cut a binding this tall. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel on all of that. All right.
And I've learned that the hard way. But
All right. So
all
this
good.
is a cotton knit. I don't think we
And then
mentioned
this is
that.
a jersey,
And this
right?
is a rayon jersey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I love the short sleeves. So
Yeah, it looks great. All right, so here's another one.
yes, this one I love. I love, love, love. I put the dark color on the back, so if I sit in anything, it won't show.
And notice that, and this is part of the pattern, it does have this little bit of easing under the binding. That comes with the pattern.
Yes.
I love the way you sewed on your label
Yes.
in a contrasting color. I love
yeah.
that.
I just thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And then I put the pockets in the mustard.
Yeah.
I added that. And this one is a little longer than this one that I'm wearing because I wanted to do the more of the, it's called midi length,
All right.
not knee length. It's midi length.
Okay.
It's not long.
All right.
It's midi.
Okay. And it doesn't seem like it has quite the extreme. Did you?
Well, I didn't have enough fabric.
Okay.
So that sometimes,
All right.
because when you're doing a dress, I don't always have the fabric proportions correctly. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
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 You
All
need
right.
more.
All right.
A lot more sometimes.
Well, you said that one of your favorite tools or notions is Fusee Web.
Yes.
And we've talked about that a lot. That's the paper-covered line of glue. And so I'm sure you use that on the hems and wherever else you need to glue things together. But the fact that there are no sleeves and you've done this a little different binding technique. This is more of the wrapped technique rather than the same technique as the
Yes.
neck. So it's two different binding techniques, which I believe we talked about a couple of weeks ago or something in one of the Facebook Lives.
Yes,
So,
you showed the 4, I think.
Yeah.
I love this dress. This dress, I feel like you could throw on and go anywhere. You could wear it with tennis shoes. You could wear it with high heels. You could wear it, so cute.
Yeah. Sneakers.
Great length.
Yeah, yeah.
Great length.
All right, and then you have one more. She has one more, Alex.
And this is after another designer that I had seen that had a wild print in the middle and then a woven arms and then the ribbed neckband and arms.
Yes. So this has a little bit of a puffy sleeve because this is ribbing, which, by the way, we have about 8 colors of ribbing that has just come in. I don't think it's on the website yet, but it will be within a week or 2 or 3 or whatever. So ribbing is hard to find, as I understand it. And so you might want to watch for that in the future.
Well, like this one, I had to kind of mock ribbing.
Yeah.
This is the real deal.
Yeah, ribbing is great because it does create that gather easing, I guess I'll call it, rather than a gathering at the end. Now, did you have any trouble combining the woven with the knit?
On this one, I did not. I have in the past. This one worked great because this behaved And I've glued it with the Fusee web.
She used the Fusee web.
You have to use the Fusee web.
All right.
But this was picked out from one of my son's girlfriends. She had really liked the combination of all of this. And it is an adorable daytime dress. I just think it's
and
so
take
fun.
a look at this wider ribbing. That's one thing you can do with ribbing that you can't do with fabric as well. If you had cut this in, if she had cut this in fabric, this probably would be flipping out.
Yes.
But the fact that it's in ribbing really hugs the neck, and so you can go wider, which I think is a nice detail. But I love the idea. I don't know that I would have ever thought of putting a woven sleeve, but the fact that it's fuller and a little bit gathered, it works, so you don't have to worry about the stretchability of the sleeve so much. So this is a cotton knit. This is just an embossed cotton. And then we have ribbing. So really, really fantastic combination.
It's a nice, fun dress. Gosh, you look very stylish just putting that on.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Well, tell me the reason you like dresses.
You really want to know?
Well, yeah.
Well, there's two reasons. I love putting on the one-piece dress because you're finished. All you have to do is put on your shoes, maybe a necklace, and you can go out the door. Pull your hair up in a ponytail and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
The second most important reason is for me going through menopause and sweating and wearing pants. It made me look like I was peeing on myself. Seriously, I am. That is the truth. So when you wear a dress, it just runs down your legs, and you're okay.
Okay.
So is that too personal?
I don't know. We tell it all right here.
That is it for me.
That's great. And she does live in a more humid, hotter climate for longer parts of the season. So
a lot of people wear dresses where I am for that reason, because you are just really sweating a lot. So.
But I think dresses have come on the scene really strong in the last few years. Even for me, someone who I really haven't worn a dress for a long, long time. I'm re-looking at dresses. I have on a dress today. I actually have on our Memphis dress with the shorter sleeve and a little bit of color blocking at the bottom, and I think the back yoke is color blocked. Yes.
Yes.
Also in a cotton knit, but I'm getting there, and I'm understanding the benefits of dresses.
Well, it hides a lot too. You know, you can.
Well, that's true.
Have
it
a
skims
few,
the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lengthening sort of thing, can be slimming, and it's fun if you, like you're saying, color blocking. You can really have some fun with a dress. Yeah. All right, so that's the Alex.
Yes.
All right, what do you want to talk about next? You want to talk about?
Let's do the Florence.
All right,
this is one of my favorites.
All right, so this is. Yeah, let's get rid of those. All right, so this is the Florence shirt out of the package. Pretty traditional shirt. Single, narrow cuff, has this interesting little gathered pocket that's curved on one edge, standard collar and stand, and the front and the back are cut the same length, but when you sew this tuck on the outside, you get this hitch to it that creates the bubble shape. So that's in a kiwi color. Oh yeah, that's right. Yoke, and then this applied band. There's no seam here. This is an applied placket with buttons.
A faux
something. Yeah, we don't know what that is. So
yes, I love this dress.
Yes, this is in a fabric, a rayon challis that has chickens on it. And we have both of these fabrics, basically. We have this fabric, we also have the kiwi linen. But what did you do to this one?
Okay, I lengthened it 14 inches. I kept the pleat or this little embellishment the same spot. I oversized my collar and I put a different fabric on the inside. You can see that that's a lot bigger,
right?
Because I feel like collars are really in right now, and then cuffs.
Exaggerated collars and cuffs are very stylish.
And this is the same. I've got the silk fabric on the inside of that one as well.
All right, let's get a little closer here. So this is a beautiful silk, almost kimono-like. Probably is a kimono.
It is kimono
fabric as the undercollar and the stand, and then you've also used that to detail the yoke and the back placket, and didn't put the buttons on it, which I think is just fine.
Well, because I bought these beautiful vintage buttons from you. I've been dying to use, and I only had this many. So I thought, I'm only going to put them here, and then I used a different button on the cuffs.
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah, it's great. But I love this, the way this is like a
double men's cuff is what I was going for.
double men's cuff, almost like a cuff link sort of affair here.
And this dress looks so fun and sporty on. You could wear it with boots, you could wear it with tennis shoes, flats. I mean, I just feel like this is a great, I don't know, it just, you feel wonderful when you wear that dress.
Well, and the fact that, you know, fabrics, when they're drapey, are very slimming. They flow, they move, they're comfortable. And rayon has come a long way. In my day, back in the 70s, rayon was kind of one of those icky fabrics. But there are new generations of rayon, from tencel to viscose to all kinds of other terms. And they've refined rayon now to the point where the colors are more vibrant, they're richer, and they wash well. It used to be that they were sort of dull. Rayon was kind of a dull fabric, so that's all changed.
And you could call it something else besides chickens.
That's true, but we're not going to. All right, so.
This is not my dress, but it is adorable.
This is Jerry, who was also part of the threesome in Atlanta. Yes. And Jerry is an itty-bitty woman, very, very small, darling person. And she used the Mix-It top, the one that has the keyhole opening, the little mandarin stand and loop and button and cap sleeve. This is a silk charmeuse, and this is a silk crepe de chine. But all she did was lengthen it.
It is adorable.
It. Nothing more than just simply using the lengthen and shorten lines that are on the pattern to lengthen it. And if there are no lengthen and shorten lines on a pattern and things are pretty rectangular, as this actually is, you can go from the bottom. You can just lengthen it at the bottom.
Okay. Well, unless you have big hips.
Well,
you may have to make some accommodations.
Well, you may have to A things and do some shaping.
But Jerry is this big.
But she kept the little vents, which I think looks so pretty.
This is a Dolce & Gabbana fabric that she got when we were in France.
Oh, whenever we go to Chateau de Mar, we always stay one day in Toulouse, and there's this fabulous fabric store where we shop. So that's where she got this.
Yes. I love this dress. So cute.
All right, what's next for you?
Okay, let's see. Do you want to do the Liberty?
Sure. All right, so the Liberty shirt is like this normally, with a Peter Pan type round collar that I wear standing up. Some people bring it down. It does have these diagonal seams that create this unique shape, so it's a little bit shorter in the front, longer in the back. And this has a split in the sleeve, so it can have a little cuff affair to it if you choose to. This happens to be in a silk crepe de chine, but you've done yours in a cotton.
And I love this pattern. This pattern goes together so easily. And it has these great angles, so it makes you look like you know what you got going on.
You look as wide as the seams in the front, which is of course narrower than if the seams were at the side. So it is a very slimming pattern, both in short, long, whatever. But you have shortened the sleeve, and have you widened the sleeve?
I did a little bit because my arms are from tennis,
all right,
a little larger.
And then again, this more open neck.
And I exaggerated the collar some, as you can see. That's a little, and this is a lot bigger.
Yep. So this is a fabric that we also have in a nice little blue and white pinstripe, and has these wonderful little, I don't know, actually there's a couple of bees on it, but it's mostly just a little abstract, circular, almost painted design to it. So we have a little bit of this fabric left.
But this dress almost looks preppy to me, fun and preppy, and again, tennis shoes, flats.
Sandals.
Yes, a lot of different. I love this.
Yeah. People look at this pattern and think that this is a princess seam, but it's not. The facing is wide, and so this is a top stitching line. that it becomes visible. So don't be confused by that when you see it.
And to me, I was intimidated because of the angles, but it actually is a very easy pattern. I love this pattern.
Great. All right.
Okay. Trio.
Now the trio t-shirt is part of a 3-part trio pattern. The trio top, trio t-shirt, and trio pants. The pattern is no longer available, but we do have the trio t-shirt as a download in plus sizes, and we are working on the trio t-shirt in the extra small to XXL sizes as a download, which is coming very soon. Betsy, that's your reminder. She's working on it, and it's going to happen very soon. But you can see that it has raglan sleeves. It has a seam down the center of the sleeve, and there's some shaping to it. So it's a very nice t-shirt. The neck is not super wide open, but it's not a crew neck exactly either. So this is the trio t-shirt. So what have you done here?
This is the fabric that I painted when we were with Sarah Campbell.
Oh, that's right. Sarah Campbell from London came to Topeka last February, and we had a workshop here where people painted fabric.
Pre-pandemic. It was this year.
It was. It was just this last February. That's correct. That's right. And you painted this very abstract. It was fantastic. This is cotton knit. This is the Alabama Chana natural cotton knit. And then she used acrylic paints to do her splatter painting. It's fantastic.
I did short sleeves, of course, because of where I live, but I love this detail. I just thought that we could do so many things with that. And I did a V-neck. Yeah.
And the V-neck is part of a So Confident tutorial that you can actually purchase of how to do a couple of different V-necks. You've also underlined this. No, you haven't.
I did.
Oh, yes, you did.
Because I made another dress in white, and it was too tight, so it was showing everything. So I thought that will be a great underpiece.
Right. And you also didn't hem this
No.
at the bottom. It's raw edged, which I think is great.
I
no
love
problem.
that. Yes.
But here's the V-neck. A nice, I like the way you've stitched the top stitching a little ways away from the well of the seam, and that gives it a different look. Or is that cover stitched? Did you cover stitch it or stitch it twice?
I stitched it twice.
Stitched it twice.
Because of adding the white dress underneath.
Okay.
That's why. But would this be adorable going to the grocery store?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
This could definitely be a great everyday dress.
Yeah, now this pattern, as I said, included the top, and the pattern's no longer available, but we sold a lot of trio tops and t-shirt patterns, so if you have this pattern, you might want to dig it out, because this is the trio top that she's made as a dress, but it also looks really good over this.
It looks phenomenal.
This has a set-in yoke with a little bit of easing below it, and she's added a band to the bottom, which actually was because
it wasn't long enough to cover up the bottom of this dress.
Right, but it added that element, I think, that makes it even better. So.
And I really
I
exaggerated that.
Yeah.
Really exaggerated
This is in a washed linen.
Which looks phenomenal.
Oh, it's
not
this
only
one. That's right. I'm
with
on
that,
the wrong dress. Sorry
no,
about that.
you're right. But these two go together. But this is the cityscapes that I love to wear under that. Look how good that looks together.
The Cityscapes is a pattern that you can download. And it looks like this. It's a long dress. But she has
long sleeves.
Yeah, long sleeve. Round, a little bit of a rounded neck. Boy, these buttons. Get your exercise working these buttons. So let's talk about the dress before we put it on there. It still has the darts.
Yes, I just sewed them up, just like this is. See how it kind of goes in, just like this one does?
Yeah.
I just made it a shorter length. I made the sleeve shorter, and I did this little cuff just because I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
And I did a little interfacing because it was hard to get the binding just right. So I did a little, what is that called?
Facing.
Facing. That's what you did.
Did a facing instead of a binding.
There you go.
Because this is a woven. Now that's translating a pattern that's built for a knit into a woven. So did you do anything about sizing here?
I did not. I have, you know, this was my first cityscapes that I made, which I didn't sew up the pleats at the bottom.
Left those open.
Yes.
So it works in the same size.
For me, yes, it worked.
I think that's something you have to measure, and you have to flat pattern measure your pattern to make sure that there's enough ease. If the pattern says this is made for a knit, then you're going to have to flat pattern measure and make sure you've got 4 inches of ease in the bust and 4 inches in the hips and so forth. But yes, this is a great combination.
Look at that.
That's pretty.
Wow.
Yeah. And we still have this fabric. This is a silk and cotton. Erin made some pants out of this, some Chesney pants. It has a beautiful feel to it, wonderful hand. Very nice. But we still have some of this fabric as well.
But this would also look good with a t-shirt and jeans.
Right.
Throw it on, go to the grocery store.
Well, this has that same look, really, as that coat thing we're talking about that Naomi Osaka
That's
had
true.
on.
Yes.
So you could even go longer and make this into more of that transitional coat.
I love these.
All right.
Fun, aren't they?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Now, for those of you who are members of So Confident 2020, you have in that package a pattern called the Detour Jacket. That's the only way you can get this pattern is currently through the So Confident 2020. So this is the pattern. It has this very signature zigzag sort of overlapping yoke, very swingy, and a tapered sleeve.
In the back.
Tapered long sleeve.
I think it's cool.
And a nice, beautiful inverted pleat without a yoke.
Yes, I like that.
All right. So, what have you done?
My dress. Woohoo! I love this dress. So, of course, I shortened the sleeves. I added these little ties because I saw I can't say the name appropriately, Marimekko designer who had the puffy sleeves on a long, again, this is extra long, so it's more of a midi, not long. I folded the collar down and did not put that button at the top because I thought that looked adorable.
Yeah.
And I added a little extra stitching here because it is actually in the fabric, the little zigzags.
And then you've done something to the back. Haven't you added dark?
I added, this is from your handbag hardware.
Okay.
So that I could cinch it up and make it look a little more fitted in the back. These are two pieces from your handbags.
We have these kinds of rings, so to speak, double, single, couple of finishes, so we have this sort of hardware. But that's a great idea, to cinch it up instead of a tie or buttons or whatever.
Or you don't cinch it up, you just leave it long.
That's right.
You know, but I love it. I just thought it added something.
And you've added pockets.
Of course.
Yeah.
I've got to have something to put
And
myself on.
the inverted pleat is on the outside, which I love.
Did I do it wrong?
No.
I may have done that wrong.
Well,
I did.
If you did, that's fine. But an inverted pleat can be on the inside, inverted, or outverted.
I love it.
Whatever.
Well, I did outverted.
And I think that's a great, quote, mistake. So,
well, good.
Yeah. No, I love it. All right.
to
So
know.
that's Detour Jacket.
This is a
Detour Jacket. Detour.
phenomenal dress.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay.
right.
So we're going to move to
All right, now we have London Shirt. And the London is an oversized, very drop-shouldered garment, single collar, full sleeve, but it has the same diagonal lines or similar diagonal lines to the Liberty. But it's a much fuller, people ask me sometimes the difference between the Liberty and the London. And the Liberty is more fitted through the bust and the shoulders, has pretty much of a set-in sleeve. This is just an oversized, I call it the big shirt. You can wear it smaller if you make a smaller size. A lot of people can wear a lot of different sizes in this particular pattern. I can wear an extra small and I can wear an XXL, and depending on the fabric, it works. So, okay, so what have you done?
Well, I didn't do a whole lot. I used this border print, which makes it look different, I feel like, on this. Of course, I've lengthened it. I added pockets. I put a little cuff on here, which is...
It may be the same cuff that's on the pattern, actually, that maybe you sort, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
but
either.
Whatever. Yeah.
So I added pockets, and then I actually sewed a little bit of darts. I gathered it on the front and on the back. This is my belt. This is a great fabric.
Yeah, so she's tucked it in here. These are some outside tucks
There's 3
that help to cinch it in so it's not such a tent-like garment, particularly when translating from a very drapey rayon to a more crisp, stable cotton. So,
But this sewed beautifully, I felt like. And
this is actually, it is a border print, but it was actually a panel print.
Oh, yeah.
And so there were sections of, I don't remember now, 42 inches long, and then there would be a stripe and another section of background and another stripe. So don't be afraid of these panel prints. And when we get panel prints in, then we generally sell them by the panel rather than the yard. But you can utilize the panel or the stripe for borders, for collars, for belts, cuffs, trims, plackets, edges, bindings, whatever. So don't be afraid of them. I think some people avoid conflict with paneled kind of things.
I just thought it was fun. It was perfect.
That's
how it worked.
Beautiful.
They're coming to get us.
Yeah, they are. We're across the street from the police station, so we feel very safe here.
All right.
All right, now this is the whistles. And the whistles normally has these flanges, 3 flanges, front and back, 2 flanges in the back, and this shape of collar and a simple sleeve.
Yes.
So,
I, of course, exaggerated the collar again. I'm just so into that. And I lengthened it, added cuffs, large cuffs on the sleeves. I color blocked it because I have a picture of a color block that's all the same, but all the same fabrics, but different colors that I thought was phenomenal. I think I left the back pretty much the same except for the color blocking.
yeah. So this is cotton sateen. We have 3 colors of this, plus we have white. Well, we have, yeah, this is just the cotton sateen. This is a very, very beautifully refined, polished cotton. And I think Samantha's done a really good job with this. This is a fabric that takes some care to sew.
Yes.
You can't just blow through this. You have to get good stitching, and you have to use a walking foot.
Yes.
And you probably have to use your fusee web and
Tissue
paper, because this fabric has a tendency to pucker. So when you're sewing some cotton and polished cottons and that sort of thing, you think it because it's cotton it's going to be just a breeze. But just know that there are a few little things you have to pay attention to, and you have to be in the right frame of mind to sew fabrics like this. You do. You can't be in a hurry.
It's true. At one point I said, I think I'm going to quit and let y'all finish this dress when I get to Topeka.
Well,
But I did it.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But I love what you do with the cuffs and the collars. I think that's one of your couple of your signature details that you do to all of your garments, and I think it's a standout sort of thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Awesome. Okay.
Now we have the Hugo, and actually we worked on this together when I was in South Carolina.
Yes.
The Hugo is a shirt that has a hidden placket and a fold that comes down center front with a little bit of a banded cuff sleeve sort of fare, and obviously a round neck with loop and button. This is almost unrecognizable at this point, but this was from a picture as well. Oh, no.
We went to that boutique.
That's right. There is a
Yes.
wonderful boutique in Charleston, South Carolina called RTW.
Yes.
And we saw a dress. Do you remember the designer?
Partow. Partow.
Partow. And we loved the dress, and it was way expensive.
We were all like fingering it, turning it upside
Right.
down.
We turned it inside out, and the owner didn't care. She was
Yes.
great. But, so this is the Hugo. So here's the pleat, very
Yes.
deep, and moved to the side. So this pleat, which was center, is now deep pleat on the left side.
Yes.
The whole affair here is gone, and it's just a simple V-neck with a facing, and the sleeve bands are not attached.
Correct.
And that's it. And then she
Pockets.
had this wonderful piece of fabric And she made this belt, again, using some D-rings to make the belt. I think this is incredible.
Which is the parto. Remember, its belt was very long.
That's right.
Very long.
Yeah. Yep.
I just thought this dress was impeccable there.
Yep.
Wow.
And this is the cotton and lycra stretch that we talk about so much for. I've talked about it with Picasso pants and other bottoms, but it works great as a dress too. I think you could wear this anywhere. You could wear it sort of evening-ish with some, sparkly whatevers,
Yes.
or you could dress it down as well.
I agree. It's gorgeous. I love this. Then you have your Eureka.
Now we have the Eureka top, which has a similarity in a way to the Hugo, in that it has the sleeve bands either folded up or not. But this is in a knit, and it does say, I believe on the pattern instructions, that it's for a knit. But we've made the Eureka many times in woven. So, and this is not something I think you have to worry about the sizing too much, because it's a fairly loose-fitting garment. But this is a cotton knit. And so
I did it in a linen.
Yep.
And I did a facing because of the way it was going to lay with my V-neck. I kept the sleeves the same. And when I lengthened it, I decided to add this little elastic channel at the waist just to give me a little bit of shape.
Yep.
No pockets in this one.
Yep.
So
that's a pretty simple variation, really.
I love this
Just
dress.
lengthening and a V-neck. And other than that, it's the same.
Yes.
So don't think that you have to go way overboard and add all kinds of things to these projects. It can be very, very simple.
Awesome. Then we have Jan's Splice.
So Jan Block from South Carolina is the third of the Musketeers and was part of the Atlanta group as well, and has become a great friend and been in Topeka many times, and I've seen her in South Carolina, and we've been everywhere together. So this is the Splice top, which is a download, and of course it's called the Splice because it has what I call a splice insertion at the side that's a little bit shorter. It goes clear into the underarm. And the shoulder is a little bit off shoulder. This is just a nice, simple top to make.
It is.
Well, Jan was going where?
To the steeplechase.
Steeplechase.
Yes.
And so she made the Splice top as a dress to wear with a hat, I'm assuming. Do they wear hats to the steeplechase?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Right. And knowing Jan, she had the perfect shoes.
And the perfect hat, I'm sure.
The perfect hat. So this is a washed linen. She's an impeccable sewer.
Yes.
And this is simply a splice lengthened. Nothing more. She didn't change the sleeve. She didn't change the neck. All she did was lengthen it.
That's a beautiful dress.
Yeah. The color is amazing. All right.
Yeah.
I believe that is it.
Okay.
Now, we are starting our dress workshop tomorrow.
Yes.
It's the first of our series of fall workshops. And so Samantha actually has more dresses, if you can imagine, to show. But we're going to stop at that for the Facebook Live. But she has put together a presentation that is a PDF that I think we might work on just a tiny bit, she put it together really for herself as her presentation for the class tomorrow, but it's so incredible to see the starting point visuals of the garments and the designers and see what she's done with it. And we may offer it up as a little tutorial or something, we're not sure. We're working on that. So, but we're excited about our workshop. We have, I think one of these Tuesdays, we're going to take a little tour of the space because we have totally rearranged our space. We're taking now fewer people in our classes, and we've reduced the number of people that we take in a class by half. So everybody has quite a distance around them to sew. Everyone has their own cutting table and with lots of space around it. We've taken down some walls, moved some fixtures, taken away some furniture. So the whole shopping area in the back of the studio is wide open. And we're pretty excited about the fact that we can now have people back into our studio, and we feel comfortable having you here in Topeka and in our studio. So we welcome all of you who are signed up for the September, October, and November workshops. So those are starting tomorrow, and Samantha is our guest instructor starting tomorrow.
It'll be fun.
All right, what have I forgotten? Have we forgotten anything that we...
Our fabrics.
Yes, the fabrics and questions. Oh, let's do questions.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
We have quite a few questions about the length. So when you do like a above the knee dress or a midi dress, what is your typical length that you lengthen in your dress?
We repeat the questions, by the way.
Okay, so how much do I add to the length of a pattern to make it a knee, midi, and it kind of depends on where the shoulder lays. But I generally start at 15 inches. Sometimes it is 17 inches, sometimes it is 14 and a half. But what I do is I figure out where the shoulders are going to lay, and then I hold a measuring tape up and basically stand in front of a mirror to see how long I want it to be, and then I go to the pattern and add that much where I want it.
Yeah.
So
I think that for a lot of our patterns that are asymmetric and have asymmetric shapes, I think that, I don't believe we've done this, have we, Erin, where I've lengthened an asymmetric pattern on Facebook Live?
No,
I don't think so.
You're so confident.
Yeah, I think we'll tackle that coming up, because when you...
like this is 20 and a half I added to
20
that
and a
one.
half for a more midi length.
This one was 14 and a half, you know.
So you wrote that down.
Yeah,
I put it on here so that
yeah, well, that's a great idea to record that.
so I would know the next time.
Yeah, exactly. But at any rate, when you lengthen, let's say the Liberty, where you have these angles, of course the geometry changes when you start to lengthen it. And so there's a trick to knowing how to lengthen or shorten those kinds of lines. And we'll deal with that coming up in a Facebook Live.
Yeah. But generally, I mean, I think you just find a dress that looks really good on you, and you say, well, I want to mimic that length in this pattern.
Right.
You know.
Well, and the other thing about that is you've made at least three Alex tops into dresses. They don't look anything alike.
No.
So it's now that you have the lengthening done, now it's about details, insertions of piping, shortening sleeves, adding
different necks,
ribbings, whatever. So don't try to create something new perhaps every time. Get one or two patterns that you really like the shape of. For instance, that Liberty, where it has buttons down the front, could become a knit dress sort of like this.
Yeah.
So, think outside the box in terms of fabrications, and you don't have to do so many patterns. Okay, next question.
The trio behind you, what did you use for the underlining for your second?
What did she use for the underlining this?
That's that Eileen Fisher, beautiful white knit.
This is a white cotton knit, or excuse me, this is a viscose knit.
Yeah.
Just a white viscose knit. This is cotton knit, this is viscose knit. I don't think there's any particular reason why one is used over the other, but the viscose knits are smoother, and the cotton knits do kind of catch on things a little bit or have a tendency. So if you want to underline, now she could have done a tricot knit, but this is probably what she had on hand.
It is. And it's a mistake, but I was able to use it because it is too tight. But what it does is it allows this to hang better on me. It's just like a little sucker inner.
I see. It's like it's like an inner girdle dress.
Yes, yes.
Right.
It worked beautifully.
All right.
Okay, and the band on the black ribbing, how wide is that?
The black ribbing.
On the sleeves and
Oh, this. What is that?
All right, I'd say this is 1.5 inches. The binding on the sleeve and the neck are the same at 1.5 inches.
Okay. All right. Oh, and they asked about your labels. The labels on your dresses. Tell us the story on that.
Tell us about your labels.
Well, of course I had some of Linda's labels, but then I started running out, and I knew I had to put those details down. So this fabric from the Sarah Campbell workshop, I used and use my printer to print labels.
That is very clever. So you could do your name, you could do a saying,
I
whatever.
just think it looks really neat. I mean, look how fun that is.
Yeah. Here,
That is really fun. And it tells how much, 15.5 is what I added.
So she has printed our logo on fabric. And then she's been able to write on it what it is, some details, when she did it with the date and so forth.
Yes, and that's with the markers from Nancy's workshop.
This is using markers from Nancy Shriver's workshop, which are fabric paint workshop
Yes.
markers, basically.
Yep, I love those labels. Those are fun.
All right. Do you buy your fabric for each project, or do you have a stash?
Who asked that?
Does she buy her fabrics for each project, or does she have a stash? I'm not going to answer that.
Well, the funny thing also is that your son, Sam, answered this. He said she definitely has a stash.
Sam, her son, answers, she definitely has a stash.
I do have a stash.
Well, but let's talk about that. We can laugh about stashes, but when you live in an area where there is limited access to
Yes.
fabric down the street, that's what you have to have, is somewhat of a stash. And I don't know about you, I can buy a fabric for a specific project and 5 weeks later decide I want to use it for something else.
Yes.
Or I want to make that fabric pattern, but I want to use that instead of that. So, and with all your mixing and color blocking, you have to have some things on hand to study and work with and move around and use. So we're defending stashes here.
And
No
if
question.
you don't get it now, sometimes it's not available.
Well,
Again, if I like it and then I think, oh, I should have bought that, and I go back in a week and I'm like, oh no, it's already sold out. So
Yeah, for us that is an issue because we only order a certain amount of yardage, and sometimes we'll reorder something, but not too often, really. So yeah, we get it while you like it. There you go.
And I do.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Okay. How much fabric do you normally buy then if you're going to lengthen a shirt to a dress?
How much fabric do you normally buy if you're going to lengthen?
Oh, well, I have learned to buy 3.5 to 4 yards. And if it's a really long, complicated, I might buy 4.5 yards.
Okay.
Like the Soho requires a lot of fabric. And there is nothing worse than getting into it and being short, like on the one Alex that I was short and couldn't do the exact hem that I wanted. So I just had to, it's a little bit, but it's not quite, because that was the very end of my
Well,
fabric.
and when you're experimenting anyway with new shapes and lengthenings and cuffs and so forth, you might have to cut some things more than once
Yeah.
because the first time didn't work. So, I've done that.
Yes.
So on that dress, the Alex, somebody asked about a facing, but it looks like it's just a narrow hem.
Yes, there's
This.
just a narrow hem on this, no facing.
Because of no fabric. I was out of fabric on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there was a question about your cuffs, your menswear cuffs that is your signature. How did you do that to get that one?
I took one of my husband's Robert Graham shirts, basically, and just measured how big that cuff was, and you could probably show a much better way of doing this, but I just doubled the cuff and sewed it together and sewed it on. So I'm sure there is a finer technique, but I basically took that.
I think this is just fine. There are other ways to do it, but this is fine.
For me, it works.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I wanted to put a button, but I was very limited on the buttons that would go with this fabric. So I just sewed it there.
You may have a lot of details in your closet that you are unaware of, that you could measure, compare, copy. Yeah. Don't forget, you can go shopping in your closet. And
Or
find
your
a-
husband's
or
closet.
your husband's closet and find a lot of things. That's right.
Can you show the trio again? We wanted to know about a button on the collar, and if you could just show the back and the collar details on that one.
This one? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
the
So-
button has a great button on the back.
Yeah, that's a great detail.
Now, the reason I did that is because I exaggerated the collar so much it was laying funny. So I put that button there and it made it lay perfectly then. I didn't have to do anything else because I thought, ooh, maybe I should have put more interfacing in it. But it lays perfectly now with that one button to hold up the back.
Great idea.
Position. So I love this.
Looks like it on the questions. We want to move on to
All right.
fabrics.
So let's talk about some fabrics.
Fun stuff.
All right. Let's talk about some potential Alex combos.
Okay. Should
All
I
right,
get
so-
an Alex? That color block.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we have a blue viscose knit,
Which is similar to this one.
right?
Yep.
And we have a mustard,
Which is great.
and we also talked about putting it with
The pinks,
the pink-
blue and the red.
Yeah, this is sort of a pink red,
That would
That's
look
pretty.
fantastic.
and then I had to go back to my college days in 1970 and bring out the psychedelic pink and orange.
Here.
I remember doing a final project for my interior design class, and it was a hair salon, and I did it in pink and orange. But look at this
Even look at
combination.
that.
Yeah,
That is amazing right there.
some great color blocking opportunities here with any of these, any or all of these really mixed together.
You could also, if you're a big sports fan, make your school colors to wear to
Well,
a
that's
game.
true. Now you had this with,
That, I believe, wasn't it?
because here's the woven
For the sleeves,
for the sleeves that could go with,
that, and then this. Look at that. Wow.
so remember you can do the woven sleeves.
I love that. That is so fun.
Okay.
Do you want me to throw them?
Yeah, just throw them here. Erin's going to help us here.
It's a lot of fabric, these big bolts.
Yeah, it's funny how they can be so heavy. All right, so this one you liked a lot.
I love this.
This has the right feel. This is a cotton that has that crisp,
That would be a great Florence, wouldn't it? The way
maybe great
this.
Florence. It'd make that, the one that was the panel fabric, the Detour. It'd make a great Liberty.
The Detour. Here. Yes. This.
What's the London one. Yes,
The
it would make the
London,
London one
yes.
too. Yes. Yeah.
This would be
So
fantastic.
this is fun. These big prints like this are just all over the place.
I love
Very
it.
popular, but it has a nice crisp feel, easy to sew. Great
Be
little
a
cotton.
lot of fun. Yes.
All right. We have a couple of brand new fabrics. This is a rayon challis.
I mean, this, look at the,
Yeah, nice drape.
that would be so
for
comfortable.
that long Florence, anything really, Splice. But I love this little retro sort of deco print to that.
Yes. That could also be good sleeves on that, like that,
Right.
with a red
With
or
the red.
orange, because it has it in it, the red and the orange.
Yep.
That's fun.
Okay. This one has a very Liberty of London looking print to it, which is always very popular.
But look at that.
Great
how
colors. All kinds of beautiful
So comfortable.
colors. But yeah, great comfortable rayon.
Flowy.
We have a silk.
Oh, this is, I have to have. I have to have.
This might be leaving.
Yes.
Some of this might be going to South Carolina.
Yeah. This is just
This is a
gorgeous.
silk charmeuse. I believe it has a little bit of stretch in
Wow.
it. And you saw Jerry's little mix-it shift, if you want to call it
Yes.
that.
This.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
wow.
it could be for any of them. But
Yes.
It's really beautiful.
This is, I'll take this one.
All right. Okay. Erin made the new Chesney Pants in these three fabrics that are block printed. You hold that one. So when they're block printed, they're not always evenly printed. You get some variation in them, but I think that's what makes them interesting. So you could color block, so to speak, these
Absolutely.
into one dress.
I did not appreciate these until I saw them here, and now I want these.
Well, when you saw them and you're so confident, you thought they were knits.
I did.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I don't know.
But they have a great feel to them. They have sort of a handcrafted flavor to them because they are hand blocked from India. So don't just think they're knits. They're not.
They're kind of like the Japanese fabrics that you have.
Exactly. And then we do have these 3 beautiful colors of cotton sateen. This incredible red, the gold,
Gorgeous.
and this beautiful maroon burgundy. So,
And you have white, don't you?
and we do have white, yes. So
Gorgeous.
there we go.
So
All
many
right.
good choices.
So we have all of those that we've held up. We have more of the chickens.
Yes.
We have more of the kiwi linen. We have,
have
more
that.
of this one. We have the orange.
And Jan's or mine. I'm not sure which one.
I'm not sure. We have both, really.
Okay.
We have I'm not sure they're exactly the same, but we have 2 orange washed linens.
Okay.
So I believe that's...
Oh, and this one. You have this one.
Yes, and we have this floral. So all of
Yes.
these will be on sale at 20% off. We have some other things on sale. Actually, when you said, I asked you about your favorite notion, you said fusee web, but then you followed that up with a ripper. So I have a ripper in every corner of every sewing space that I have.
Yes.
And I don't have this to show you in my hands, but we carry a ripper by Clover that I think is the best, sharpest, finest. When I say finest, I mean smallest.
It doesn't rip your fabric. It
Right.
just gets your thread.
And it has a great ergonomic handle to it. So that seam ripper is on sale. And then we have some tutorials. The Eureka remake. So you've remade a couple of Eurekas. That tutorial is on sale at, I'm not sure, $15, I think. 20% off. Artistic piecing, which is an interesting tutorial about artists who have done quite different. And then sewing with silk is a good classic tutorial that we have. The patterns that are on sale are pretty much all the ones we've talked about. The Alex and
All of
Olive.
All of these? Wow.
Are you sure about this?
That is a
How
lot.
about they go to the Linda's videos section?
There you go. All right,
on the
so
website?
If that's all for sale,
no, not all of these are. Excuse me. But a lot of them are. Like the Florence is on sale. The Alex and Olive is on sale. The Eureka is on sale. The Whistles, the Berwick. We have patterns on sale. So how you find out about all of this information of what's on sale and also what how the videos are categorized. Now tell me if I'm doing this correctly, Erin, because I'm low tech about this. So you go to our website, sewingworkshop.com, you click on shop, and then it comes up, there's a section, a block called Linda's Videos.
yes.
And that is, then all the videos are sorted by topic. Now where do they find the information for what's on sale?
It's in that.
It's in that category.
Yep.
So this week it's dresses to kill, and you click on that.
All right.
And everything is listed, and then each product will say if it's on sale.
All right, so in addition to the tutorial, all the products are in that category as well, and this week's is called Dresses to Kill. All right. All right, anything else we have to...
Happy birthday, Jan. It's Jan's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Jan. I didn't know that. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday, and thank you, Samantha,
It's
for
fun.
all the fabulous work you've done.
Glad to be here. Woohoo.
Fun. All right.